All right, let's talk about the story of Sodam Yat. And this isn't just another comic book tale. It's this really powerful parable about purpose, and it's built on this profound idea that sometimes our true destiny is the complete opposite of where we began. So, let's really dig into this central theme. We're about to explore the journey of a hero from a world that was literally built on fear. We're going to see how a man who was born in shadow could end up transforming that very darkness into a source of light for an entire civilization. Okay, so our story kicks off on the planet Daxam. And this society, it wasn't defined by what it created, but by everything it shut out. You could say they were architects of their own shadow, always building walls to keep the universe at bay. This really captures a deep contradiction, doesn't it? The Daxamites, they're like their Kryptonian ancestors, so they have the potential for godlike power under a yellow sun. But, and this is a huge but, their fatal weakness to lead became a metaphor for their entire culture. It's like this deep-seated poisoning of fear that led them to build these thick walls, both physically and psychologically. And right here, you see the central conflict embodied. While his people were taught to measure their worth by the height of their barricades, Sodam Yat, well, he was born measuring the intervals between stars. He was a creature of the horizon, trapped in a culture of architects who only looked down at the foundations of their fear. So this internal conflict really sets the stage for his heroic journey. And what's fascinating is that it didn't begin with a flight into space. Nope, it began with this quiet internal rebellion against his own culture's foundational lies. This was his real internal departure. I mean, this timeline is just heartbreaking, but it's absolutely crucial to who he becomes. It starts with his youthful friendship with the alien pilot Tessog, but then tragedy strikes when his parents betray him and kill his friend. They even try to brainwash him to fear all aliens. But that awakening in the museum, it just shattered the conditioning. Every moment he spent secretly rebuilding Tessog's wrecked ship, he was physically deconstructing his culture's xenophobia, one piece at a time. His escape plan wasn't just about leaving a planet, it was about escaping a poisoned ideology. And this really gets to the core of his initial purpose. It was born long before any cosmic power ever found him. It was born the moment he decided that the truth of a single alien friend outweighed the dogma of his entire civilization. So now we get to the moment of destiny, the arrival of the Green Lantern ring. But it's so important to see how this moment just builds upon the purpose he had already forged for himself. And this question is so central to what happens next. On the very night he planned to finally escape Daxam in that rebuilt ship, destiny just intervenes. So was it giving him a purpose, or was it simply recognizing one that was already there? I mean, think about who the ring chose. It didn't find a general or some high-and-mighty politician. It found a fugitive, a dreamer, a mechanic working in the dirt. And that tells us that the ring wasn't his purpose. It was the tool for it. It's what transformed his private rebellion into a public duty. And get this, even with this incredible, terrifying prophecy hanging over him, that he would be the greatest Green Lantern but was fated to die in its final battle, the ring just amplified the path he was already on. His first instinct as a Green Lantern wasn't conquest. It was to finally escape the shadow of Daxam and explore the stars. This brings us to the most profound part of his journey. It's a test that would reveal the true nature of power and what it really means to be a hero. Just imagine this. After generations of hiding in fear, his people suddenly possessed the very power of the gods they dreaded. They could fly, they were invincible, they had everything they thought they ever wanted. And this just reveals a terrifying truth. Power without a moral compass is just a larger cage. They didn't become heroes. They became galactic tyrants. This proved that their walls weren't just to keep others out, but to keep their own monstrous nature in. In this moment, Sodam became a true hero by choosing to stand against his own people. His purpose wasn't to be the strongest Daxamite, but to embody the justice and restraint his planet had never ever known. So the climax of this whole parable is his ultimate sacrifice, an act that perfectly, poetically, mirrors the very beginning of his story. So to save the people who had ostracized him from the invading Sinestro Corps, a galactic army literally powered by fear, he made an incredible choice. He returned home, flew directly into the heart of Daxam's red sun, and using his will and the power of the Ion entity, the very embodiment of willpower, he transformed it into a yellow sun, gifting his people the power they needed to defend themselves. The symmetry here is just beautiful. His journey came full circle, but in reverse. He went from being an exile, cast into darkness, to becoming a literal sun god. He became a living battery for his people, a prisoner of the very gift he gave them. He proved that a hero's purpose isn't found by following the path laid out before you. It's not about accepting the walls you inherit. It's about becoming the light, even if you must be consumed by the fire to do so. And that leaves us with this final thought. Sodam Yat's journey teaches us that our truest purpose is often found not by looking for our own path, but by becoming the light for the paths of those still lost in the dark.